Alright guys, I was going to make a video about something that I've discovered through my workouts. And I work out probably anywhere from, it's usually 2 to 3 times a week, and sometimes 4 times a week, but typically 2 to 3 times a week. But anyways, a little bit about my workout. What I do is I never do cardio. Like, I'm going to start incorporating some cardio into my workouts too, but right now I just really focus on heavy weights and trying to get stronger and bigger muscles. And in doing that, I usually do like 5 sets of 5. And whenever I get down to my 5th set of 5, each time I'm adding weights. So my first set of 5 may be just say 100 pounds, whatever. And for whatever exercise it is. I'm just making stuff up. But the next set, it might be 110 pounds, the next set 120, etc. So by the time I get to the 5th set, I usually can't do all 5. I usually can do like 3 reps of whatever it is. And I've been doing that pretty consistently for all my muscle groups for a good 4 to 5 months now, pretty consistently, and my strength has gone up considerably. But I've definitely gotten to a point where whenever I get done exercising, my muscles hurts. Obviously, I go to failure. You know, I can only do 3 reps of the last set, and it gets to the point where it doesn't hurt after like a day, and I've started to get to the point where I feel like I don't even fatigue. Like my biceps especially. Biceps seem to be the ones that are really hard to hit and fatigue the most. But I did a little bit of research about, I'm older, and my shoulders starting to been really hurting from my overhead presses, and even my bench a little bit, because my clavicle area all the way up into shoulders been giving me a lot of pain. And whenever I had Christmas vacation, I took like 2 weeks off. I didn't work out at all, and it got tons better. Like, it felt so much better. I went to the doctor, and I actually had them x-ray it, and he said that I had degenerative damage to my, I think I had a wreck when I was around 28. I mean, I know I had the wreck, but I think it caused damage, and it's a little bit of arthritis built into it now, and I'm an older, individual, and doing real heavy weights. Like, to give you an example, my overhead press, the last set, my 5th set of 5, was almost 200 pounds. And I mean, using good form, trying to be explosive with it, but it's a lot of weight. So I did some research into joint-friendly workouts for weightlifting that will still give you a really good workout and is not so hard on your body. And looked into what's called time under tension workouts. And time under tension is a principle where, let's say that whenever you do your bench presses or whatever it is. So I'm going to grab a dumbbell to kind of explain it. Okay, so an example would be for a curl, right? So when a curl is down, there's 0 time that you're really under tension. This might be isometric because there's static, it's not moving. But when you contract, that's called the concentric, and whatever time amount, you add the time that you're in the concentric. When you come to the top, it's kind of resting. That's another isometric. And then whenever you release it, it's the eccentric. So think contract, concentric, rest, eccentric. Most people do their workouts, do it at a cadence that's similar to this. Most people would be like, right? 3, but look at the seconds. So it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. See, there's only like 2 seconds of time under tension. My muscles really only under tension during that concentric and under the eccentric part of the contractions. And when it's at the top, again, the joint's supporting, and I'm kind of locked. There's not any movement. There's no movement. And that's what fatigues your muscle. That's what actually tears muscle fiber. Holding it here isn't nearly as impactful as the motion is. So again, I see people work out even faster than that. They may be like, you know what I'm saying? They have really no time under tension. Now, that allows you to do explosive, fast twitch muscle, kind of heavier weights, which is, and a guy that's young and in his 20s, it's good for the ego because you can put as much weight up there and just really just blow up on it. But again, I don't care as much about that. I just don't want to hurt myself, and I don't want to cause myself setbacks, and I want to have effective workouts. So I looked into this time under tension training, and it makes a lot of sense. So what I do now is I do the time under tension training, and I apply that technique to my workout. And what it means is that the more time your muscle's under tension, the more fatigued it'll get. You can use less weight, which causes less joint damage. And I've done it for a week. I've done a full cycle of all my body parts with time under tension. And I'll tell you right now that it's definitely just as effective a workout, if not more effective, because I did my chest like 4 days ago, and I'm still sore in the chest. Typically with my old workout, heavy 5 sets of 5, it would be like sore for that day and maybe sore the next day, but definitely not the third or fourth or consecutive days. And this is the 4th day, and it's still quite sore, very sore in places that I usually don't feel it. You're also making the mind-muscle connection when you slow your reps down and you really pause and think about the muscle fibers that are involved. It's almost like meditative. It's almost zen-like. It's almost spiritual. And you can kind of activate more muscle fibers, and you can almost visualize the contraction. I think it's super effective. A couple of guidelines if you ever want to try time under tension is, I think that what they shoot for during a phase, you can do some more research. I've done quite a bit of research, but I forget principles and stuff, and I go a lot intuitively. But what I like to do to keep enough time under tension to be effective, and so far it seems to be working, I don't have any measurements yet. Like, I can't say it's increased my bench this much or it's increased my strength that much. I don't have that yet. But I do have incredible soreness. And most trainers will say, you need to get sore. That says that you tore the fiber down. But what I do is I do 4 counts on the concentric and the eccentric. And I try to not lock my joints out, because again, locking out, coming to the lockout gives you the pause. So I'll go almost all the way to lockout. And I actually have arthritis in this elbow, so I can't lock it out. Like, that's it. See the difference between locked here and here? So I might do about that much. That would be as far as I go. If I'm doing overhead press, I stop kind of right there. And this would be lockout, and this would be where I'd stop. And just keep it in motion so that its time under tension is higher. And I'll give you an example. I'll go ahead and do some curls with some time under tension. These are going to be 20-pound dumbbells. And I normally, when I do my 5-5, I normally finish those off with 50s, and if not 55s, and this is incredibly hard. I mean, it's not as much weight, but it is really hard to do this. So here's an example of time under tension with dumbbell standing curls. Okay. All right. So example. When I start, I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5. I think you get the idea. So that's how slow that I do it. And again, those 20s, I was on my 5th rep, and they were already really starting to give me trouble. Just keeping it that controlled, really thinking about it, putting your mind into the movement. By the way, if you want to know, I usually do 3 sets of 8 with these time under tensions. It doesn't take much that you really fatigue yourself. And I still increase the weight, so I may start off, honestly, with the curls, I may start off with 15s, and I might finish it off with 25s, because it just doesn't take as nearly as much weight, and it'll really give you a fatigued muscle. You can experiment with it for your own, but so far it seems like it's going to be a challenging workout. And I'm excited to see if it adds some real strength numbers to my personal bests on each. I don't have any, honestly, I don't have any concrete personal bests. I just know where my strength's at, kind of intuitively. I like to do a lot of intuitive training, and I don't chart everything. I usually eyeball it, and maybe my first set is kind of like a warm-up set to see how it feels, but I typically know about where I'm at every time I go. Hopefully, you know, if you're stuck, if you're in a rut with your workout and you need to get to a plateau, maybe time under tension would help you too. So do more research, look into it, and I hope that this was beneficial for you. This definitely seems like it's going to work for me. I'm excited to post results later in the future of how it actually did help me or not. I'm going to stay strict with this workout for at least 2 months and probably longer. If it's doing well for me, I'll just stay with it until I'm plateau again. All right, guys, take care.